Are you tired of being obsessed with men that don't give a damn about you? Do you wish you could have those men obsessed with you the same way you see other women have them wrapped around their finger? Well, today is your lucky day because on today's show, we're going to discuss why telling men no will make them obsessed with you and how you can use this strategy to get any man you want drooling over you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're participating and paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here or present so I know you're here, present, and actively participating. Thank you very much. Okay? I'm a teeny weeny bit late today just because I was doing some tweaking. Okay? Always trying to make the show better for you guys. Welcome. Oh my gosh, we got Charisse here. Charisse is never here anymore. We finally got Charisse here back in the chat. We got Alice here in the TikTok chat as well. Scotty's here as well. We got Sky. We got, of course, Missy America. I will be honest with you guys. The YouTube chat, they're so scheduled. They're so strict. Like these are YouTube chat. Really, I can't no diss to the TikTok chat, but YouTube chat, they're so on time with everything. They're here before I'm here. So by the time I get here, they're like, yo, where you been? We've been waiting for you. Okay. So I got to shout you guys out in the YouTube chat. You guys are always here right on time. Okay. So welcome, Teddy. Of course, we got Missy America holding it down in the YouTube chat as our moderator. We got Enlighten A, the OG. We got Teddy. We got Catherine. We got Vanessa. We got Melina, one of the OGs. Welcome Anitra as well. We got Ivy, of course, our beautiful member up in the chat. Welcome all you beautiful people. Okay, nice to see you. We got SH as well. And Brianna holding down the TikTok chat. Yes, SH, you are always here. Okay, let's get started. Today we got a lot to discuss, and we will chat as time goes on. Okay, so let's start first off with the challenge. Okay, now this one might be a little bit straightforward. I want to break this down though, and we're gonna get deeper and deeper into this because this has a lot of layers. Okay, so obviously, as you are telling men no, I want us to all be of the same understanding. When I'm referring to telling men no, I'm not just saying the word no in itself. What I'm referring to is the concept of being you, doing you. And regardless of what the guy wants, regardless of how he wants you to act, regardless of what is best for him, regardless of what makes him comfortable or eases his anxiety, you tell him no. And it works in your benefit. And this is where we're going to explain how this works in your benefit, okay? Because you can get the men to chase you just by simply telling them no. So obviously, number one, we're going to start off with the challenge. Now, you have to understand there's a lot of challenge that comes in with you saying no to men. Now, I know for most of you, you might think to yourself, well, challenging men, that's just being difficult. Well, challenging men, that's just making him frustrated. Well, challenging him all the time, that's just going to make him not want to talk to me, be uninterested in me, and he's going to want to go talk to other men. In reality, obviously there's a balance, okay? There's a balance. When you challenge men the right way, especially when you challenge them by telling them no, it puts them in their place. This is good. Okay? And it challenges them to actually have to be better and do better to turn that no into a yes. Now, obviously, I want us to be very clear on this. I'm not referring to you telling a man no simply because you're actually genuinely uncomfortable with the situation or circumstance or something that he's doing. What I'm referring to is telling him no as a way of forcing him to actually have to put in effort and work to get his desired result. Okay, are you guys following me so far? Very important that we're on the same page here. The no I'm referring to is not necessarily because you actually don't want the thing, or because you actually don't want to speak to him, or because you actually want to ignore him or want him to stop doing the thing that he's doing. The no I'm referring to is the no that you want him to actually have to do work in order to get his desired result as it relates to you and the relationship. You actually want to have to make him progress slowly over time, not just an overnight. You're not minute oats, okay? You're not Quaker oats. He doesn't pop you in the microwave for 1 minute and then you're ready to go, ready to eat, okay? You're a slow burn. You're a process. He's got to work on things. So it's going to be a no at the beginning. Now, that no doesn't mean it can't be turned into a yes. The no can be turned into a yes. This is why I say there's a balance to this, and this is why we're going to discuss the strategy so you can understand how to say no in the way that communicates to him. It's a no, but you can do some work and turn it into a yes. Okay, that's a very good position that you want men to be in, where it's a no, not right now. No, not in the circumstances in the situation that you're currently in at this current moment. But if you put in some effort, if you continuously work for it, if you continuously pursue this thing with the right mindset and the right approach, you will get your desired result. Okay, so there's a particular way you want to set that up. So as we're discussing the challenge, I want you to understand when you're telling men no in this context, and they're actually interested in you, not for those. I see some people talking in the chat talking about, well, is this going to work on my ex? Is this going to work on the guy that doesn't like me? Is this going to work on the guy that doesn't notice me and doesn't talk to me and doesn't even understand that I even exist as a human being? Is this going to work on him? No. Okay, it's not. Who it's going to work on is the guys who are actually genuinely interested in you. And I have plenty of videos on how to grow a relationship with the guy and get him more and more interested in you. But the guys that are already genuinely interested in you, or like you a little bit, attracted to you, intrigued by you, these are the type of things you need to be doing. And this is the strategy you need to be utilizing. Okay. So when you're telling him no, you're challenging him that he is going to have to work harder in order to get more access to you. You very, very important. You want there to be a challenge in order to get more and more access to you. I know a lot of you talk about, I'm the prize. Tell me in the chat if you believe you're the prize. Nothing wrong with that. If you believe you're the prize, anyone can believe the prize. A guy can believe the prize. You can believe the prize. Everyone can believe they're the prize. Okay? Now, the reason I ask that is because if you believe you're the prize, if you believe you're the thing that's meant to be won, if you believe that you're the thing that people are meant to work for, to possibly get, and everyone should be striving for and trying their best to get you because you're such a valuable prize, that's fine. But then you also have to treat yourself like a prize. Okay? And your approach has to be that of a prize. And the environment that you set up in terms of how other people approach you has to be that of a prize. Okay, so this is all of what we're talking about. And the first step is there has to be some sort of challenge there. There is no prize worth winning where you just walk up and, hey, well, I'm here today. I exist. So I guess I should win the prize because of my existence. No, there is some sort of effort you have to put in. There is some sort of result you have to get through the process of putting in energy and focus into something. And we'll talk about focus in a second, right? Putting your energy and focus into something. And in the process of that, if you do the thing the right way or the best way, and you work for it, you will get your prize and reward for working towards that thing. And so I say that because if you are believing that you are the prize, and in your mind you truly like, I'm the prize, all the guys should know I'm the prize, all the guys should treat me like a prize, I'm the prize, that's fine. But then you have to treat yourself like a prize, and you have to set the stage that you can actually be approached like a prize. So what I mean by that is, if you're giving things away to men very easy, very simple, without any work, without any effort, without any consistency, without any focus or anything, you are not treating yourself like a prize. So he's not going to view you like a prize when you're not even setting the groundwork to be like a prize. Okay? It's your job to set the stage that he can approach you that particular way and in that environment that you want to be in. If you want to be treated like a prize, you can, but you have to set that stage for it. Okay? So in the process of you challenging him by telling him no, and no in the way where he understands it's a no, but you're going to have to work for it and get better at it and be consistent with it. And in order to get more access to me, I'm the prize. So access to me is the prize. And if you want more access to me, you're going to have to do more things. You're going to have to do more work. And it's not just going to come overnight. You're not just going to do a couple of things one day. And then the one day that you do the couple of things, all of a sudden, now you get the prize, which is me. Now you get ultimate access to me. Now you get access to my Squirtle and my mind and my emotions and everything that I wouldn't be giving away to any human being on the street. No. It doesn't work like that. Okay. And so that is where the challenge starts. And that's why the challenge is so important. When you challenge him like that, you become a lot like a video game. Men's favorite vice, video games. Now, me personally, I've talked to you guys about video games before and how to make him chase you like a video game. And I've talked to you guys about video games in the past and the analogy and understanding what makes video games so addicting for men and how you can embody that. So I want to touch on that a little bit so that we can all be on the same page. Now, me personally, I'm not a video game player. I don't have time. I'm talking to you. So I don't really have time to play video games, nor does it really interest me. But for majority of men, they are interested and enjoy video games. For some of those men, they are addicted to video games. Doesn't mean you're a bad person because you enjoy video games, okay? So some of your men will probably enjoy them a good video game. Now, I want us to understand the concept behind video games and why they are so addicting for men and how you can embody that in the sense of a challenge and why the challenge of a video game becomes so addicting. So the whole idea of a video game is that when you pop in the disc into the slot of your console, for most of us in 2024, most people just download digital games. Okay, there's no longer disc, but you get the idea. Soon as you open up that game and you start fresh anew, you are level 0, meaning you have no resources. You have no respect or money, depending on what the game is. You have no prestige. If it's Call of Duty, I believe that's what they have. You're just a level 0 with nothing. Nothing. You have absolutely nothing. And what you must do from that point on is you must work to gather more resources, gather more respect in the game, gather more, whatever it is, perks, weapons, rewards, whatever it may be, skins for some of them, right? And you must gather more and more of that and level up your player, right? Your avatar, whatever it may be, to eventually get to level 100 or a master level or a level in which you're better than everyone else, right? And in the process of that, there will be challenges along the way, not just challenges in terms of different challenges you must get in order to unlock rewards. That's one sort of challenge. There's layers of challenges. There's also the challenge of the skill gap in which is required to even be good at the game. So the first time you pop in that disc as a guy, I know some of you guys are like, what, video games? I don't care. I just want you to understand the concept. The first time you pop in that disc and you put that video game in, you're not going to be good at it overnight, right? It's because you got to work for it. There's a skill gap. The people who are at the top, who are the masters where you want to be, they're doing a lot of things that you're not doing. They've developed a lot of skills that you haven't developed. They've done a lot of things that you have yet to do because you're a level 0. But in the process of you working towards your level 100 mastery, you will eventually get there to where those people are. So I give you that example because I want you to understand how the challenges are layered in those video games that the guys are addicted to and how you can gamify yourself. I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds strange. I know it sounds weird. I know it doesn't sound like love or relationships. But I just want you to understand this concept because you'll see very different results and very powerful results when you start implementing this type of stuff, right? You can gamify yourself where the men feel that the challenge, right? The challenges they must overcome in order to get access to you make you like a video game. And so what ends up happening, they become addicted to you like a video game. Okay, so I want to give us a direct example so we're all on the same page of what a challenge is. Okay, so I want you to imagine you're on the street. Okay, you're on the sidewalk just walking. You have a sundress on, your dump truck's flowing in the sundress. You're just having an amazing day. And I come up to you. Okay, I come up to you, just look, you don't even recognize me. It's just randomly me. And I ask you, I say, hey, there's 2 versions of this approach. Okay. So in the first approach, I simply ask you, hey, can I ask you a couple of questions, like randomly, like just literally randomly. I just say, can I ask you a couple of questions? You don't know me. You've never seen me. Pretend you don't watch me on YouTube or TikTok. And I just come up to you and I say, can I ask you a couple of questions? You're like, hey, you creep, get away from me. Get away. There's a black man. He's terrifying. Why is he asking me questions to ask me questions? Okay. Or Version 2, I come up to you and I say, hey, you want to win $100? And you're like, wait, what? I say, I got $100 for you if you can just answer these couple of questions. And you're like, wait, for real? And I pull out of my pocket $100 bill and I'm like, nah, for real. And I'm like, look, I got the camera guy right there. If you want to answer these questions and you can answer them right, I got $100 for you right now. Cash, cold hard cash, right? Now, which one is more intriguing? Which one are you more likely to answer those questions? Okay, you're more likely to answer those questions when there's some sort of reward involved with the challenge of answering those questions. Okay, so it's funny how when you structure things where there's a challenge and reward, things become very much more intriguing to you, and you'll actually allow yourself to focus your attention and time on that thing because of the way it's structured. Challenge and reward can be such a powerful, it's not even just a man thing, it's like a people thing. Challenge and reward is such a powerful way to get someone focused on one thing. Because if I just walk up to you on the street and I want to ask you the same 3 questions, it's like, well, I don't really care about this. What do I get in return? It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. I'm moving on. I'm paying attention to something else more important. But as soon as I structure it in a way where if you answer these questions and you answer them correctly, then your reward becomes this $100 bill. Now, all of a sudden, this is way more intriguing. Now, all of a sudden, you want to know what the questions are. Now, all of a sudden, you might be asking things like, wait, before you ask me the questions, what's the topic on? Wait, before you ask me the questions, what year is the questions about? Wait, before you ask me the questions, and you're trying to get all these different answers and you're putting now all of a sudden you're locked in. Now all of a sudden your focus is here. Now all of a sudden your attention is here because you understand that there is a reward at the end of these challenges. And if you focus your time and energy and your brain power on each one of these individual challenges, you will get the reward no matter how small. Even if I said the reward was $50 or I said the reward was $5, it's still inherently a reward, meaning you gain something that you didn't have before. But you must overcome these challenges in order to get access to the reward. And so I say that to say it's the same thing with you. When you can structure yourself in a way where access to you becomes the reward, and the challenge is trying to be the actual man that you need him to be, or need any man to be that's going to be your partner in order for him to get the reward, which is the access to you. Well, now you've just gamified yourself. Now you've turned yourself into something intriguing that needs to be worked towards and massaged and needs to be focused on. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you guys? Right? I hope that makes that example made sense to you guys. Someone says, I don't date men that play video games. I know. I just gave you guys the example because a lot of men play video games. So I want you to understand the concept so that you guys can utilize the concept for yourself. Okay, don't worry. I don't play video games either, to be honest with you. I'm not a video game guy. I don't really have too much time for that, and it doesn't really interest me. But there's a lot of men that it does interest. I challenge myself in different ways. Okay, but lots of men enjoy video games. Okay, yes, you guys want to be a slow cook, and you want the challenge to be there. They call me Yuki earlier says, but tonight you look so handsome. Yes, you do. You know it's true. Was that like meant to be a rhyme for me? Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Says I never understood why adult men play video games. Everyone has their thing, you know. So number 1, we had challenge. Number 2 was number 2 is value. Okay, so I want you to understand. I know you're valuable. Okay, I know. Me know. Tommy knows. Okay, and I know that you're amazing and awesome, and you're worth so much, and any man would be lucky to have you. Here's the reality, though. While you might be valuable and you might know your value, I want you to, I need you. Okay? I need you. Look at me. Look me in my eyes. Okay. Me and you together forever. I need you to understand that value is not really about quality. Stay with me. I know it sounds strange. I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds weird. Value is actually about perception. Okay? I'm going to explain. We're going to have a discussion, but I want you to understand this concept, because when you shift your mind in this way, it will change the way you approach things. I need us to be clear. Value is not about the actual quality of the thing. Value is about the perception of the thing. Meaning, if your value is perceived to be high, then your value is high. If your value is perceived to be low, then your value is low. The thing about perception is it can be manipulated. You can have people perceive your value as high by doing certain things and approaching a relationship or yourself a particular way. And you can also have people perceive you as low value based on their perception of you, based on how you go about yourself, your life, and your relationships, okay? The same way in the business world, or even let's just think about fashion for a second, okay? In reality, when it comes to clothes, the clothes that we wear on our backs, for the most part, there isn't a drastic change in terms of quality of the clothes in Louis Vuitton versus H&M or your regular everyday store. Okay. I know we would all like to think that there's a massive difference. There's someone at Louis Vuitton sitting here handcrafting with an eyeglass every single little stitch, and they just put in their blood, sweat, and tears into every single garment of In reality, the clothes that are getting made at H&M or the Bay or Sears or whatever is really, for the most part, the same process as the high quality designer clothes that you go and spend 10 times the money on. They get made in the same sweatshop by the same small little Asian boy. Okay? It's the same place. What you don't realize, though, is that the actual thing you're paying for when you're paying for these high fashion clothes, okay, this is not meant to be like a fashion rant. I just want you to understand what you're actually paying for when you're paying for these high fashion clothes is you're paying for the brand name. Okay. Now, when you're paying for the brand name, you're thinking, well, what is the brand? What does that mean? What I'm paying for the brand. So what does that mean? What that means is you're paying for the perception of quality, not the actual quality. Okay. I need you to understand that. Now, obviously, when it comes to clothes or anything, obviously there is a limit to that. You're not going to pay for garbage quality and only perception. There is a slight quality increase. However, the quality increases, right, between Louis Vuitton and H&M isn't so great that it requires the price to be 10 times or 20 times or 100 times. Do you understand what I'm saying? The difference in actual quality is not equal to the difference in actual marketplace value. And so the amount, right? The reason that's not equal to each other or consistent with each other, I don't know what you'd call that line graph when they're congruent with each other like that, right? The reason they're not equal to each other in terms of actual quality difference and market value is because the difference is perception. And because the perception is that the Louis Vuitton, the Dior, the Chanel is so much higher quality because it's Chanel, because it's Louis Vuitton, because it's Dior, right? You pay 100 times the price because of perception. Because when you put it on, you believe that it has more quality. When you go out into the world, everyone else also believes in the same hype that it has more quality. And when everyone comes to an agreement that this thing has quality and has value, well, then everyone pays a high price for it. And so you can literally trick people into perceiving something as valuable simply because it's scarce or unavailable. Now, you're probably thinking, how does this relate to me? How does this have anything to do with me when you're talking about value? The same thing with you. You need to understand that your value is not necessarily based on how amazing you are. It's really not even based on how squirtly your Squirtle is. It's not based on your dump truck, your Yiddies, nothing. It's really based on your perceived value. And you can control your perceived value. Because no matter how dumpy your dump truck is, no matter how voluptuous your yiddies are, when he approaches you, right, in the process of getting to know you, he's going to categorize you based on how difficult it is to get access to you. And if he experiences you in a way where access to you is very easy, or even to the point where it's kind of annoying because he always has access to you and you're always available to him, your perceived value is going to go down and down and down and down and down, until you get to the point where he no longer values you and he's looking at every other girl instead of you, because he no longer sees you as someone he wants to chase or pursue. And so you can, the great part about this, as sad as that might sound, the great part about this is you are in control of your perceived value. So as it relates to what we're discussing on why telling men no will make them obsessed with you, when you tell men no in the context that we're discussing, when you tell men no in that context, it allows them to recognize that only someone with real value, this is how they perceive you now. Remember, I told you perception is everything. They perceive you as only someone with real value would be able to turn me down, even if I was offering them anything they wanted. Even if I was telling them everything they wanted to hear, even if I was telling them how desperately I want to be with them. They're not fazed by that, or you're not fazed by that. You're not affected by that simply because it's not a shocker to you that a guy wants to be with you. It's not a shocker to you that a guy wants to take you out on a date. It's not even a shocker to you that a guy wants to make you his wife, make you his girlfriend, spend the rest of his life with you, put a ring on it, all that good stuff. All the guys want that. All the guys want access to you. All the guys want to date you. That's not news to you. And so that doesn't affect you or get you emotional to the point where you start saying, oh my God, you actually like me? Oh my God, you actually want to pursue me? Oh my God, you think I'm pretty? You think I'm wife material? I'm worthy of something? Oh my God, I just tell me again. Can you tell me one more time? Tell me how big my dump truck is. Tell me how big my yiddies are. Oh my God, am I the most amazing, beautiful girl you've ever met in your life, right? And you just become even more invested in the fact that he wants you than you are even in the guy himself, which is why I always talk about validation can be a very dangerous thing, because you can become addicted to the validation. And so in turn, you begin accepting less or saying yes to men all the time so that you can continuously get more validation, right? For yourself. And the thing about it is, the more you say yes to men all the time, easily, without any work, all it does to them is it decrease your perceived value in their eyes. And like we just discussed earlier, when I gave the example of the clothing items, perceived value is everything. Perceived value will control how men approach you or how they disrespect you. And if you are in control of your perceived value, well, you can get the men to approach you exactly how you want them to approach you. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay. Melita says, yes, I'm very busy now preparing for summer concert tour. He loves it. I bet he does, right? ABC123 says, girlfriends are used as placeholders. Wives are used as starter wives. Women need to make sure they're not being used and deceived. I mean, I agree that women need to ensure they're not being used and deceived, right? And when you're able to tell men no, you have some time to decipher that, okay? Right? Shelly Anna earlier said, I'm on YouTube said, I'm doing this to my hot neighbor because his effort is not enough. He's so fine. I just know women throw themselves at him. I just can't. You know, that's funny that you mentioned that, Shelly Anna, too, because what you just mentioned, the guys that you want, the high value men that you guys want. See, that's the thing, is that if you recognize their high value, then so do all the other girls. And so the thing about it is, if all the other girls are also recognizing how high value those men are, then what are they going to do? They're going to say yes to those men because they want access to those men as well. And they want those men to like them. They want those men to validate them. They want those men to chase after them and pursue them. But in reality, when they say yes so easily to the high value men, they are all accustomed to women saying yes to them because they're high value. So even when the high value guy that you really like and all the other girls really like comes to you and wants to date you, wants to be with you, and he says, I want more access to you. When you say no instead of yes, he thinks to himself, wait a second. You're telling me no? What do you mean what do you mean you don't? I'm confused here. I'm glitching here. You're telling me no? Do you know who I am or no? I don't think you know who I am. And they get offended, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that the moment you do that to men and you tell them no, especially the men that are accustomed to hearing yes from everyone, it actually puts you in a different category. I know a lot of you love to say, I'm different. He likes me because I'm different. We all think we're different, okay? We all love to think that we're different. In reality, when you do the same thing as all the other women, you are the same as all the other women. And he'll perceive you the same as all the other women. So you actively have to be thinking, what are all the women doing that I can be doing the opposite? Because that's actually how I stand out and be different for real. Not just fake different. I think I'm different, but I'm actually the same. I'm actually different because I actually value myself. I actually have standards, and I don't have fake standards that can be pressured into folding. I have real standards that don't change for anyone. It's very different. Okay. And the men can sense the difference in that, all right? So value was number 2. So number 1, we had challenge. Number 2, we discussed value. Now, number 3, I want to discuss with you focus. Okay, so now that he is being challenged because you're telling him no, now that he actually has to work towards something like a video game in order to progress and get to his desired destination, get to his reward, which is more and more access to you, hopefully eventually his Squirtle. That's what he's hoping and praying for and dreaming about and whacking off to, okay? In turn, it requires him to actually have to focus on what is happening with you, what is happening in the relationship, how things are progressing, and if he is actually making some forward progress to where he wants to be in terms of you and the relationship. That is good, because when you have a man focused on you like that, what can he not be focused on? Random girls. Thoughts. Girls that would distract him from being focused on you, and things that would distract him from being focused on you. You only have a 100% of your time and energy and focus. So if he's focused on you this heavy, he's not thinking about other girls. This is what leads to the obsession, because now all of his thought and brain power is all on you. What's going on with you? What do you want? What matters to you? What do you need? And very interestingly and quickly, he becomes in search of your approval. Okay? Because now he's trying to focus on turning that no into a yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when he's thinking about, oh, how can I turn this no into a yes? What do I need to do? Okay, well, she likes guys that get her flowers, so maybe I should get her flower. Oh, she said that she really enjoys this favorite chocolate of hers. Okay, for our little dinner today, I'm going to bring some of her favorite chocolate. You see, when you have a man in a state where he's thinking about how to woo you, where he's thinking about how to impress you, where he's thinking about how to knock your socks off, that's when you actually have a creative man who's trying to do the most in order to get more and more access to you, or in order to get you to see him and notice him, or turn that no into a yes. It's a very good place for you to be, because you'll have guys acting right. Not only will you very easily have him acting right and have him treating you with respect, but you'll have him going over the top to try to prove himself as even better than all the other men who are also going to treat her with respect and act right. Okay, so now all of a sudden, just by saying no and saying no the right way, you set a guy straight where he respects you, right? And he respects your authority, and he's focused on trying to seek your approval. because he understands in the process of these challenges that are going to eventually lead up, if I'm successful, to my reward, which is you're the prize now because you've set yourself up to be a prize, right? In the process of me going through these challenges, I must focus on actually completing these challenges the right way. Remember when I gave you guys earlier the example of me coming up to you on the street and saying, oh, I'll give you $100 if you answer these 3 questions the right way, versus me just saying, can I ask you a couple of questions? If I just tell you, can I ask you a couple of questions? Even when I ask the questions, you're not going to be quite very focused on the questions I'm asking. You're not going to particularly care if you answer them the right way or an honest way or the truthful way. It's really not going to matter to you. You're probably just going to answer the questions as quickly and as painlessly as possible. Versus if you're answering the questions in order to get $100 out of me, you're going to be focused on, okay, am I answering this question right? Okay, let me think. Does this answer even make sense? Okay, what is required of me of this question? How am I supposed to answer it right? And you're going to be so much more focused on each individual question than you would be if there was no reward at the end. Okay? And the reason I bring up that example is because I want you to understand how important and good for you that dedicated focus will be and is when you tell him no, and now he's challenged in order to try to show you, right, or prove to you that the no can be a yes if he just works for it. Okay? So very important that you understand how or why that focus plays a huge role in why no can be so good. No can be so good to the ears. And I also don't want you guys to get the wrong idea when it comes to saying no and thinking that, oh, but if I say no too much, he's just going to become uninterested. No, if you say no and he becomes uninterested in you, it's not because the technique's not working. Honestly and truthfully, it's because he wasn't that interested in you in the first place. Okay, I'll just be so for real with you guys, because I know some of you are when I start talking like this, some of you are listening and you're just like, you're starting to itch now, and your blood's starting to rush, all over the place, and you're saying to yourself, I can't wait to use this on the guy that doesn't like me, doesn't notice me, doesn't speak to me, doesn't talk to me, doesn't want me. I can't wait to use this on my ex who broke up with me and has another relationship with a whole nother girl. I can't wait to use this on my ex who has a whole nother wife with a whole nother family and a whole nother set of children that he cares about and takes care of, that doesn't even text me or message me or notice me or even watch my stories or anything. Because when you try to use this on the guys who aren't interested in you or the guys who don't even want to put in effort for you, okay, you're not going to see your desired result, because they're not here in that relationship or with you to do more work. They're here to do the easiest thing they can possibly do, which is get the easiest access that they possibly can to you. Okay, does that make sense? Welcome, Andy. Andy's one of my guy friends in real life. Okay. It's probably the only guy in the chat right now. All right. So focus, very important. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean when I say focus. Okay. So an example, even unrelated to relationships. For example, when you join me on the show, and I know a lot of you do this, tell me in the chat if you've ever done this before. An example of how focus can be so effective in terms of getting your energy and brain thought power off of something else onto one thing in particular that makes your life easier or better would be you with me. So you all come here, we discuss, we talk about relationships, we talk about life, we talk about you and your needs and your wants and your requirements. I know for some of you, and tell me in the chat if this is you, I know for some of you, you listen to this while you're in a situationship or while you're talking in a talking stage with a guy, and for some, or while you're just breaking up or ending a relationship. And for some of you, instead of sitting around and missing the guy, instead of sitting around and being miserable, when you listen to me, it helps take your focus off of just sitting around and being so sad and starting to text him and call him because you're so sad without him and you miss him so much. You listen to me as a way to focus your brain power and thought power on what I'm saying or what we're discussing instead of sitting around and being sad. Okay? And the reason I give the example of that is because that's an example of how you can take you only have 100% of your focus. You only have an understanding of your thought power. And if you're taking it off of something else and putting it on to something else, well, you can only be focused on the other thing. And so for you, with the guys that you're dating, see, when we're talking about getting him obsessed with you to the point where he's chasing after you, but to the point where he's pursuing you, you actually also have to be actively yet non-actively, right? An active way of not taking action. You have to be strategically taking his focus off of all the other girls and all the things that are going on with him and everything in his life, and get that focus on you. That's how you get him obsessed with you. And if he's obsessed with you, that's when he's going to be chasing you and pursuing you and doing and acting and treating you how you want him to be treating you. Okay? And courting you, doing the absolute most for you when he has his focus on you and not on all the other girls and what they're doing. And that's the problem when you say yes all the time. Okay? When you say yes all the time, it makes it very difficult for guys to ever be thinking about the challenge that is you, or how they're going to work and strategize to turn the no into a yes, or work for your approval, because you already said yes and they didn't even feel like they had to put in much work in order to get the yes. It's not good. It's not good. Okay. BJ says it helps that you're pretty to look at. Well, see, the thing about it is, for most of you, except for a few of you that may have massive foreheads and huge bobbleheads, most of you are fairly attractive women who wouldn't have a problem attracting a guy. Okay. And the only issue you have is your approach. And when you really like a guy, your approach starts changing, and then the guys are not interested in you anymore. For a majority of you, that's your only issue. It's not really being an attractive person. Okay. For some of you, maybe it might be, but for most of you, it's not, which is why it's such a delicate balance. And just adjusting your approach will drastically change your results. Okay. So first we talked about the challenge. Then we talked about value. Then we talked about focus. Number 4, let's discuss investment. Okay, so as the men, they continuously work for you. They work for your approval. They try to turn the no into a yes. They try to get you to see them and want to be with them and want to be the guy that you pick. They end up being the pick-misha, okay? Right? They end up being the pick-misha because they want so badly for you to pick them. And in the process of that, while he is working towards that and overcoming all these challenges, he has to overcome all these obstacles he has to overcome in order to get more access to you and see you more and be closer to you. What ends up happening is he becomes more increasingly emotionally invested in you and the relationship, because over time, as he puts more of his dedicated brain, thought, power, energy, and focus into you, he now is invested in the outcome. Do you remember, maybe you missed some of these shows, but you should remember, if you joined me a lot, you should remember the show where I talked to you, and I've talked to you guys about it plenty of times, why it's so important to detach yourself from the outcome of your relationships. Okay. And you should only be thinking about what it is, the type of partner and relationship that you want, but not it necessarily having to be someone specific in your life. Okay. And the reason I always preach to you guys that is because that allows you to become detached from the outcome and instead observe what is happening currently. Now, vice versa, when the guys are challenged, when you're saying no to men and they feel like they have to work more and more for access to you, over time, they become more emotionally and mentally, physically, spiritually invested in you and invested in the outcome that I'm putting so much work into this relationship and trying to make it work, trying to get her to see me, trying to get her to be with me. Now I'm invested in the fact that hopefully all this work ends up in us being in the relationship. And the more invested I am in that, the harder I will continue to work to make that a reality. The less invested I am, the less willing I am to do everything that it would possibly take to make that thing a reality. This is where the obsession comes into play, because obsession is not a light feeling. I never want you. Obsession is not, oh yeah, you chill. You know, I'm super obsessed with you. Like I think it's cool when you're here. Yeah, I'm super obsessed with you. You know, we watch Netflix and we chill, and it's like I'm just so obsessed with you. That's not obsession, okay? Obsession is like a hunger. It's like a thirst it feels like it can never be satisfied. It eats away at him, right? He's thinking about it all the time. He's thinking about you all the time. And so I say that to say, as that investment grows in you and as he becomes more invested in the outcome that he ends up with you, he's going to try harder and harder and harder to make that outcome a reality. It's also going to make it a lot harder for him to walk away from you. That's good for you. Okay? If it's a lot harder for him to walk away from you, he's probably not going to participate in a lot of actions that would make it easy for you to walk away from him, or that would make you uninterested in him. And so now you've kind of set him straight, where you've put him in a position where you actually are the prize. But if he wants access to the prize, he's going to actually have to act right, which means he's not going to be able to act a fool and expect to still get the prize. So just that fast, you don't have to tell him to do anything. You don't have to tell him to act right. You don't have to set him straight. You don't have to yell at him. You don't have to nothing to him. Your power is the access to you. Is the light bulb going off now? You don't got to tell a man nothing except that you don't like how he's approaching the relationship. And the moment you tell him that, when the access to you is the prize, well, then he says to himself, oh, you don't like that? I should stop that because I want access to you. You're the prize. See, when you're not the prize, though, see, when access to you isn't the prize, you can't threaten him with anything. Okay? Because the fear is that I will no longer have access to you. And when he fears that, well, then he starts acting right. When he doesn't fear that, you have no power. So when you are upset with something, when you don't like something, when he crosses your boundaries, he's not in fear that you'll walk away because there's no prize associated with you. There was no challenge associated with you. There was no investment associated with you. If you walk away, you walk away. Cool. I'll move on to something else. You don't want that because that is not how you're going to get any man obsessed with you. Trust you me. You want him to be invested. And the only way you can trigger real investment is by putting him through challenges that he must overcome in order to get more access to you. Right? Fifi says, what if you're already in a long, I think you meant long distance relationship? Can this still work? This can still work in a long distance relationship. This can still work in a long distance relationship. Obviously, it's going to work a little bit different. And here's my thing, though, is that I always like to preference when I say, because I know a lot of you that are in long distance relationships are really just a pen pal with a guy. I'm sorry to tell you, but I can't give you no advice on how to be a better pen pal with the guy or how to get a pen pal interested in you. Because the truth of the matter is you're not working with anything when you're a pen pal. You're just texting someone that you don't actually know or messaging someone that you don't actually know. That's what some of you are considering a long distance relationship, where you text and you phone call a little bit with no actual plan of ever seeing each other. That's not going to work. That's not going to work for what we're trying to do here. Okay. So, that is why investment is so important. Let me give you guys an example of investment so that we can all be on the same page, right? So let's imagine you with a guy, and I want you to go back in your memories of a relationship that you were in with a guy that lasted longer than you think it should have, simply because you were really torn about actually leaving him. Let me know if this is actually you or if this actually happened to you. So say yes in the chat if this is you, where you've been in a relationship with a guy where you know you should leave this relationship, but because you're invested in the fact that you've given your Squirtle away now, you've invested so much time into him, right? You've spent so much time around him. You guys have built so many memories together, right? You guys have hung out for so long. You've become so comfortable around him, right? And all these different things. And you're like, oh, this relationship's not working. Oh, I shouldn't be in this anymore. Oh, this is too toxic. Oh, I got to end this. But I've put in so much investment into you. how can I walk away now? I literally just wasted 6 months of my life, or I literally just wasted 3 months of my life, or I literally just wasted a year of my life. And it becomes very painful to actually walk away, even though you know you should walk away. It becomes very painful to walk away simply because you know all the investment that you put in will literally go to waste if you walk away from this relationship now. And so you stay longer simply because you don't want to throw away the amount of time and energy you've invested into the person. This is why I give this example, because I want you to understand how powerful investment can be. Not that I want you to put guys in a position where they can't leave you because of how invested they are, but I just want you to see the concept of how powerful investment can be into having someone, right? Having their approach change or adjust based on how invested they are into you, and how it can lead them to say, I'm not going to walk away from this easy. This is a challenge. This is hard, but I'm going to work through it. And you want guys in that position, in that mindset where they're thinking, I'm going to work through the challenges. I don't care if it's not easy. I'm going to work for the thing. I'm too invested now, even if she's making it hard for me and I feel like this is difficult. I'm too invested now to walk away because I'm invested in the outcome. I want to be in this relationship. I've spent too much time, energy, and money. This is part of the reason why Shira, that you guys all love and compare me to, this is part of the reason why Shira always talks about financial investment, right? I talk about emotional investment. She talks about financial investment. It all works together in the same way, right? That investment makes it very difficult for men to then walk away from you. And if it's difficult for them to walk away from you, well, now it's a lot. They want to act right now. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to respect you a lot differently. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to treat you and approach you a lot differently when they have so much invested into you. That if you walk away, you're going to literally, you're going to take their investment with them out the door. And that's time, that's money, that's energy, that's focus, that all of that stuff is walking out the door with you. And so guys say, actually, wait a second. What do you need? I'll do it. What do you need? Whatever you need, I'll do it. If you are not happy, I'll fix it, because I can't have all of my investment walk out the door like that. That's such a waste. You understand what I'm saying? I know for some of you, you're like, that doesn't sound like true love. That doesn't sound like my Disney princess movie. That doesn't sound like my favorite Wattpad story. That doesn't sound like my favorite smut book. It doesn't sound like that. That's not true love. That's not real. Nobody should do this. This is ridiculous. In reality, if you better understand how people work, especially how the men work, you can get the desired result that feels just like love wrapped in a warm blanket, okay? Truthfully and honestly to you. It might not feel as magical because you know how you got there, but trust me, the love is all the same, okay? The investment is all the same. Don't worry. So first we talked about challenge, then we talked about value, then we talked about focus, then we talked about investment. Now let's discuss number 5, which is insecurity. Now, I talked to you guys a little bit about insecurity and how it triggers people when you say no to them, especially the men, when you say no to them, but why that is good. I always try to preach to you guys and remind you guys that love, at least for the men, I'll only say it for the men. Love is not only associated to what we would consider positive emotions. Okay, I put positive in quotations because who are we to say something is positive or negative when you can get positive outcomes out of quote unquote negative emotions and vice versa? You can get negative outcomes out of positive emotions. So how can we determine which one's positive or negative? Anyways, I say that to say it's very important that you're also stimulating what we would consider negative emotions, because the process of falling in love with someone is about feeling things intensely, both good and bad, so to speak. Okay. Now, the reason I bring up insecurity is because when you tell men no, you're going to trigger their insecurities. Why? Because it makes them feel like, you're telling me no, which intrinsically to them feels like that means I'm not good enough. That means I'm not worthy of you. that means I'm not on the level that you're accustomed to or that other people are at. And all of a sudden, you chip away at his ego. But because you're chipping away at his ego, all of a sudden he's trying to think to you, he's thinking to himself, well, what is it about me that she doesn't like? What is it about me that she has a problem with? What is it about me that she's saying no to? Does she not like my hair? Should I change my hairstyle? Does she not like how I talk? Should I change how I talk? Does she not like my approach? Or if I don't give her flowers, or if I don't take her out on what does she need? And see, when you trigger that insecurity, then guys start thinking to themselves, what can I do to gain her approval? And I always tell you, you want the guys to be in a position of being the pick-me-sha. That you want the guys to have the pick-me-sha mindset, where they're thinking to themselves, I want you so badly. What do I have to do in order to get you to pick me? Because when they're in that mindset, well, then all you have to do is sit back, relax, and say, show me what you got. Do backflips for me. Scream like a hyena. Swing off the top ropes. Okay? Do somersaults. Do cartwheels. Whatever you got to do to impress me, you better show me what you got. Because if you don't show me what you got, there's 1,000 other men waiting in this line. They're starving. They're literally drooling. They're starving to get an opportunity with me. So you got 30 seconds to show me what you got. If you can't impress me in this 30 seconds, head to the back of the line. You'll be waiting for the next 85 years. Okay? And that insecurity is very good for them to be in. I know it sounds horrible. I know it doesn't sound like true love. I know it doesn't sound like a Disney princess movie, but it is good for you to get your desired result. Because think about the men in your life, or, in your past relationships, that have had you bending over backwards for them, both figuratively and literally, or bending over forwards. Those men are triggering the most insecurity in you, where you feel the need to prove yourself to those men. And when you feel the need to prove yourself to someone, well, now all of a sudden you're cooking, cleaning, scrubbing the floor, using 3 arms to do everything at once, so that hopefully that person will see you and appreciate you and want to be with you. And like I always tell you guys, the more you try to do as a woman, the less the guys like you, because you're trying so hard. And they're never going to chase after you because you try the hardest. They're going to chase after you because they think your value is the highest and they think you're the least attainable. Okay, so I even want to give you guys an example of how insecurity gets triggered, and that triggers an investment response where now you're more focused and invested in what's going on because someone triggers your insecurity. How powerful this can be, right? So let's say you are planning to go out on a night to the club with your girlfriends. You know I advise you guys not to go to the club to look for men, but let's just say you want to go dance. You got a friend's birthday. All you guys want to go to the club, and let's say for whatever reason, okay, at this particular club, they say, hey, we got a new promotion going on at this club. All pretty women are in for free. Only the pretty women get in for free. And you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at you and your group of friends, and you're like, she a baddie, she knows she a 10. She a baddie, she knows she a 10. She a baddie with her baddie friend. And you're like, we're all bad. We're all getting in. This will be the easiest piece of cake entry we've ever gotten in our lives. And so you all get dressed up, you do your hair, do your makeup, you're singing Ice Spice and all that good stuff. You're twerking up a storm, and you walk up to the line in the club with all your confidence. You're like, oh, she a baddie. She knows she a 10. She a baddie with her baddie friend, right? And you guys are all feeling good about yourselves, ready to just walk right in. And your friends go past, and they all go past, and he's like, yep, come on through. And then when you get up, he goes, stop right there. You're like, wait, what? Are you talking to me? And he goes, yeah, you're going to have to pay $20. And you're like, he's not talking to me, is he? Who are you talking to? Yeah, miss. Yeah, miss, you're going to have to pay $20. And he looks at you up and down. Yeah, you're going to have to pay. And you're like, I thought it was all pretty girls in for free. And he's like, yeah, it is. and he just stares at you. He doesn't say anything. He's just like, yeah, you're going to have to pay. What's going to happen? You're going to be like, this guy doesn't think I'm pretty. What? I bet you're going to start saying that. I bet you've never dated a girl like, you see this dump truck on me? You see these yitties on me? I know you ain't never seen a girl as bad as me. What are you talking about? I ain't pretty. Your friend's going to jump in. What are you talking about? She's not pretty. Look at her. She a baddie. She knows she you might start twerking. You might start being, do you see this dump truck on me? What are you talking? You're going to start tearing. I can't believe the disrespect you show me after I come to your establishment and show this place. Girls, let's get the F out of here. Who are you? Who are you? You ain't never been with a girl like me before. You start breaking down, right? Right? Because he's triggered your insecurity. He didn't even say anything. He didn't say you ain't pretty, right? He didn't say you're ugly. All he said is pay up. And just that fast, your insecurity has been triggered. You see what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, now think about it. A bouncer who was probably murked, probably disgusting, that you wouldn't have even looked twice at if you saw him in public, in real life, outside of the club. Now, all of a sudden, a guy you would never even care about what he thinks of you because he's not your type or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, he's your main priority and you're focused on, you're thinking about, why don't you like me? Why don't you want me? Why don't you think I'm as pretty as the other girls, right? Because he's triggered your insecurity. And because you needed his approval in order to get into the club and he's triggered your insecurity, now you're thinking about all the different ways you can prove to him that you a baddie and you a 10. And you might start acting a fool and acting out of character just so you can prove and get the approval of this guy, this bouncer, that you are a 10. And so the reason I give that example is because it's the same thing with men. You see, when you can trigger that insecurity and he's looking and searching for your approval, you'll have guys doing things for you that you never even thought guys would ever do for you. Simply because they're trying to prove to you and themselves that they're worthy of being in your presence, that they're worthy of dating you, that they're worthy of getting access to you. Because if they don't, they're going to feel as if they're not good enough. The same way, if you don't get into that club for free, you're going to feel very bad about yourself because you're going to be like, well, what's wrong with me? Is my dump truck not big enough? Maybe I need to go to the gym more. Maybe I'm eating too much food. Maybe right? And you're going to start thinking of all the things you need to adjust to be more accepted by the bouncers around here and why the bouncers might not want you. It's the same idea. Okay? So, do you guys have any questions? Madison says, how do you come up with these scenarios? I don't know. My brain works in very mysterious ways. It just, it's like, I've been blessed by higher power that it just comes to me literally out of nowhere, out of thin air. Okay. Christina says, my ex is turned off that I attract a lot of men. See, that's the thing, is that's one of those things where guys say they don't like that. So he might say he's turned off. In reality, he's actually subconsciously turned on because he's paying more attention to you. The fact that all the other men are paying attention to you. And so groupthink happens where he's like, whoa, if all the other guys like you, that must mean you're really valuable. What he actually is turned off by is the fact that he's going to have to work a lot harder for you and your attention because of how much more the other guys want you. And if he doesn't think he's comparable to all the other guys that want you, or he's not as good, he's going to become very insecure and frustrated with the fact that, I might lose you to one of these really successful, rich, amazing, powerful men that I'm nothing like. Okay. Right. Issa says, trigger what insecurities specifically? Maybe one show I'll have a show dedicated to all the insecurities that you should trigger. Actually, I think I've talked about that before in terms of the different emotions you can trigger in a guy, like anxiety, of him not speaking to you and things like that. But I'll have a whole show dedicated to that so that we can go dive deep into that. Okay. They call me, Yoki says, so all of the white people voices got out of your head. She said that your favorite song was Bodies. I wonder what the process of that was. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Okay. Shelly-Anna says he has a lot of charisma and confidence, so I'm sure he's very intelligent in social scenarios. Are you talking about me? Or are you talking about a guy that you know? Me? I'm boring in social scenarios. I just ask questions. See, you guys think I talk a lot because I'm here and I talk a lot, but in reality, if you were to meet me, like meet me in real life, I don't talk a lot. I ask a lot of questions. So you'd actually be doing most of the talk. You'd be yapping your brains out. Okay. Right. Very, very, very funny. Okay. Braveheart says, this is great advice. I wish I had used this earlier. I was way too kind. See, we all learn at our own pace. It's okay. We all learn at our own pace. In the process of us learning, we get better, we grow, we adjust, all that good stuff. Okay. Don't worry if you didn't get this the first time, you will get it. And it will be good when you get it. Okay. Trying to think. So do you guys have any more questions before we head over into the Discord? By the way, if you guys have a question for me and you want me to answer your situation, if you're on TikTok, you just go over to the link in my bio on my profile and you click the Discord link. You go in there, you open it on browser, I think, and you can ask your question in the relationship advice section. We're going to answer a bunch of questions in the Discord in just a second. If you're on YouTube and you have a question for me and you want to get it answered from the Discord, please go in the bottom in the link in my description where you can get that question answered. Actually, I'll post it here. There you go. Posted it there even for you. So for those of you who want access to the Discord and ask your questions right there. Okay. Dominica says, how do I know if I'm unapproachable or intimidating? Guys will honestly probably tell you that. And you'll know if you're intimidating when you'll notice the energy that guys bring to you, where they feel the need to like straighten up or put their best foot forward when they're around you. If you notice that consistently, guys always come around you. Let's say you come over to his place and his room's messy. He's got clothes everywhere. He's got underwear on his bed. He's got underwear on the table. Things don't look right. Closet a mess. Shoes a mess. Everything a mess. Yeah, he don't find you unapproachable or intimidating, because if he did, he would be fixed up when you come around, not you come around and everything's out of place. Okay, that's one of those signs. YouTube channel name, my YouTube channel name is right above my head on the top right for those of you who are curious. Okay. ABC123 says, energy doesn't lie, eyes never lie, trusting my gut from now on. It's I've always been right about every man's intention. See, as you get deeper into the Players Club and as you grow and develop as well, you will become much, much better with trusting and knowing your own intuition and how you feel about guys and what you sense about guys, right? Oh, by the way, a new thing as well I want to mention. We are going to start taking live guests on the show. Okay, so very important. I want you guys to listen up to this. We're going to start taking live guests on the show. So if you want me to like diagnose your problem, you want to talk about your situation maybe in a little bit more detail, and and you want to be a live guest on the show, please send me a message on Discord and we will organize you like next week or in the weeks after to be a live guest on the show. You're going to call in. Everyone's going to be able to see your face. Okay, you're going to have to be okay being on camera in front of everyone. Everyone's going to be able to see you, and you're going to be able to interact with me and talk to me live on the show, where we can discuss your problem and we can see if we can come up with some solutions for your issue. Okay, so we'll be doing that. For anyone who wants to, please go in the Discord and you can send me a message in the Discord where we shall try and set that up and organize it. Okay, if you're camera shy, you probably just want to stick to sending me a relationship advice question in the Discord via message. If you're someone who doesn't mind being on camera, you want to have a discussion, you're okay being open about your life and situation here in front of the audience, then please, I would love for you to join me on an episode where we can live chat for everyone to kind of get a little bit from your situation as well as you being helped. Okay, so it's Discord time. time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. Okay, it's Discord time. It's Discord time. We're gonna get this Discord time. Okay, it's Discord time. Let's hop into the Discord where we have tons and tons of amazing questions to get to here, and we shall get to them. Okay, we shall get right to it. All right, let's hop right into the Discord. Let's answer some questions. Okay, first we have personal questions for Tomisin. Personal question for me. Okay, let's see. Electric Field says, I'm so curious, Tomisin. So these questions are all about you. Wow, this is like a Q&A. Very interesting. I'm feeling a little nervous asking because I know you're reading this live. That's perfectly fine. I don't read these beforehand, by the way, so I'm answering this live as I really feel and think. But we want to know the tea. Thanks for asking. Sorry. Thanks. Many thanks for your valuable content, and thanks in advance for your candor. Okay, so let's see the questions that Electric Field has for me. Okay. Many thanks for your valuable, Number one, do you believe in karma? And if so, is this channel your answer to balancing the scales of your player ways? I would say that I do believe in karma, and in the sense that the energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. And I think that there's kind of a snowball effect to when you change one thing for the better, you kind of start to identify the other things that need to be changed in your life. And I think for many reasons, not just being a player, not just manipulating people, not just using people for my advantage, there was many different ways that I felt in the past of my life. I wasn't living it in a way that put me in a position of where I really saw myself going. And I needed to eliminate those people, those friendships, those relationships, those situations, right, that weren't in line with who I wanted to be in the future, who I envisioned future me to be. And so there was many things I had to put away and let go of, and also many things I had to pick up. And I think letting go of the player ways, if you want to call it that, was one of those things. And then picking up ways that I can serve others in a way that also benefits me, but benefits those people as well. And I felt like that would be that would be the place where I am the happiest, and also the place where I can serve society and serve myself, instead of having it to be one way or the other, where either I take advantage of people and it only serves me, or I only serve others and never do anything for myself. Okay. The second question was, have you ever envisioned yourself as a husband someday? If so, what does it need to feel like for you personally to be ready to find a partner to marry? So, yes, I have envisioned myself as a husband someday, to answer that question. What does it feel like for me personally to be ready to find a partner to marry? For me, the feeling has to be, I think the word I think of is synergy. So there has to be a synergy between my beliefs, core beliefs, not everything that I believe in, right? My core beliefs and values, and my partner's core beliefs and values, and a shared vision in terms of where we both want to be in our lives. And that has to be aligned in some way, shape, or form, because if that's not aligned, if that vision isn't aligned, then we're not going to be able to hold each other accountable, one, right? So when one person makes a mistake, you have to be able to remind your partner, hey, I thought this is what we were shooting for. I thought this is what we're working for, both individually and in the relationship. And then as well, in terms of the vision, if your vision isn't aligned in terms of the future that you both want to be in, well, then you very quickly can find yourself in a relationship where you're growing apart from someone, because you're growing in two different directions, and you don't want that. You want to be with someone that you can actually ensure that your visions are aligned. That way, as you guys are growing in the relationship, you're actually growing closer together and working towards similar or the same goals. You know what I mean? The B was, what does it feel like for you to cash in your chips and commit? If not, what is your goal with women? What do you mean? Cashing what does it need to feel like for me? I kind of expressed it like it needs to feel like there's a shared vision, a shared understanding of where we're going towards, what our priorities are, what is important to us, both as individuals and as a shared collective. And everything for me is focused on the future. If we're both sure of where we want our futures to be, then we can be sure of how we're going to work towards that. And then the process of working towards that is actually the simplest thing, because once you can, the way I always live my life in terms of reaching any goal, I always envision the biggest possible outcome that I want out of this goal. And then I reverse engineer that outcome down into the smallest possible actions that I can take on an individual daily basis to get to where I want to go. So it would be the same thing in my relationship. Okay. Do you ever get heartbroken? Yeah, I've been heartbroken before. That's part of the reason why I can understand and identify with some of the things that you beautiful women go through. Because it's not like I speak it from a place of I've never been heartbroken before. I've never been manipulated before. I've never been taken advantage before. I've been in that scenario as well. And so I also take from those experiences to try to give you knowledge and information of things that I know you would probably be questioning or wondering why this happened or how it happened, because those are also things that I've thought of myself of why they happened or how they happened or how I can prevent those things from happening as well. That's where I'm able to kind of mesh my experiences with what I know you're probably thinking about. Oh, these are a lot. These are a lot. Okay, let's see. Another one was, do you think there is some specific trauma attached to the reason why you play women and undoubtedly are reckless with their hearts? I'm assuming here, so I apologize in advance if you follow the campsite rule. Well, so to answer this first part of the question, for me, I mean, I don't play women anymore. I don't have time to. But for me, when I originally was doing that, for me there was no trauma attached to it. To be honest with you, this is why I try to tell you guys. I know for some of you, you're wondering, well, do men feel bad about what they do? Truthfully and honestly, most of them don't. Okay. Simply because most of them are only concerned with what they can extract from you and not really concerned with what happens afterwards. I'll just be so honest with you. So when I was doing that, I really honestly had no trauma as it related to what I did to them. I was so focused on me that I didn't care. Just truthfully and honest, I can't BS you guys. You guys know I don't like BSing you, and so that's why I try to tell you guys they don't care. And so you have to be the one looking out for yourself, because the guys aren't going to come along and care for you just for the sake of caring for you. They're not going to come along and respect you just for the sake of respecting you. You have to be on the lookout for what your needs are, what is important to you, what you're trying to get out of the situation and relationship, that you can see the results that you want to see. And that's kind of what I help you guys with. Okay. This other question was, if not, how did you get started being a player? What player, role model, or person did you look up to that educated you or showed you the ropes on how to play women? So this is actually a really funny question. I think honestly, so for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with me, and I know this is a lot about me, I'm sure you guys probably don't care about this part, but for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I actually lost like 100 pounds. So if you go on my Instagram, and you scroll down, you'll see that I lost, like quite a bit of weight. And so before I used to be a lot bigger. Not that, I was like super ugly or disgusting or anything like that. But obviously in line with me losing a bunch of weight, it changed the way I look aesthetically. It changed the way people approach me. It changed a little people's view of me. Very interesting experiment, really a social experiment, to lose a bunch of weight like that. And the way I did it also was very interesting, because I didn't post anything. I didn't tell anyone I was losing the weight. So the only people that knew I was losing weight were people that, like, close friends that were seeing me. And then until I actually posted about it was then when people just saw me having already lost the weight. So imagine one day you have a friend who's like 300 and something pounds, and then literally a couple months later, you just see them and they're like skinny. You just be like, what? So it was kind of like that. And so I say that to say that was kind of when I started exploring what I can do with that power and how I can utilize that to get what I want out of people. You know what I mean? And not be taken as a joke anymore. As funny as silly as that sounds. So that was kind of when that started. There was no role model. There was no role model I was looking up to play women or anything. There's no videos I watched or anything like that. I just did. I just experimented and saw what I could get out of situations. Number 4, would you ever do a player circle? We'd love to meet your friends and their stories and perspectives. I mean, yeah, that would be something I'd be open to if they were open to that. You understand what I'm saying? That'd be a very interesting show for you guys to meet. The thing about me as well is, I'm multifaceted. So I have plenty of different friends and I like to compartmentalize my friendships. So I have plenty different types of friends from plenty different walks of life. So if I were to put you in a room with a bunch of my friends, you might think you're going to get the same person like 5 or 6 times, but you're going to get very different people, as weird as that sounds, with very different perspectives, but they all sort of align with me in different ways. Okay. Number 5, and trust me, we'll get off this quick because I know you guys don't really care about this stuff. Do you have any current angry or toxic exes? I'll just simply say yes to this question. I'm not someone that likes to bash exes or anything like that. I won't say they're toxic because who am I to say someone's toxic? People will say I'm toxic too. I don't like that word. Let's just say not happy. We won't say angry. We'll say not happy, not fond of me. Okay, so very, very, very understandable. We'll say that. Okay, I don't like to speak bad on people, so I won't say they're toxic or anything like that. Would you ever share a story time from your personal past? I think that content would feel exciting to see what's in your vault. Yeah, I mean, if you guys can come up with a consensus about like something you would want to hear a story about, then we can discuss. But I also have to be careful when I'm giving you guys stories not to expose anyone's anonymity, because just because I'm telling you guys a story, I don't want to make it so personal that someone's like, you're literally talking about me. Now everyone's going to know that it's me. You know what I mean? So I would give you guys a story time, but I definitely leave some things that are too personal out, just simply so you can't go on my Instagram and identify the person. That'd be the only thing. But I'd definitely be down to tell you guys stories from my personal past if you were super interested in that. Okay, so let's head over to the next question. I know that was about me. I hate making it about me. Okay, I know you guys are here for your own information. Okay, and let's head over into the next question. Thank you so much, though, Electric Feel, for all that you asked. Oh, that was up here. What happened? I got so much more to answer. What happened up here? What the heck? Maybe it didn't update here. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to skip ahead and answer this question. I didn't realize I had some questions down here. Okay, let's start off with Miss Farr. Miss Farr asks, what is a perfect way to bait someone on social media? Oh, by the way, sorry, before I answer that question, Electric Feel, while I was answering her question, she donated $20 in the YouTube chat. So everyone, please give Electric Feel a round of applause. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I was answering your question and you donated while I was answering a question. I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Electric Feel. Okay, and thank you for the amazing questions. You're the first person to ask about me. So Miss Farr asked, what's a perfect way to bait someone on social media? Miss Farr says, hi, Tomisin. I am hung up on a guy in particular. We've been following each other on social media since about 4 years now. We're both 32. The first time we made plans to meet up, he stood me up. I think you might say he stood me up. Okay. Literally, I messaged him in the morning. I messaged him in the morning of and was like, hey, where are you? And he left me on red. Ooh. Okay. I know I am embarrassed already enough. I don't, excuse me, I don't know what happened next. Eventually, we did meet. What do you mean you don't know what happened next? You do know. And then we made plans to meet a third time where he flopped again. Shut up, Siri. Fast forward now, after 4 years, he asked, when can we meet again? However, he never makes concrete, solid plans, and so nothing really came out of that meeting. When I messaged him that night saying, hey, you flopped on me, why would you do that? Why would you message this guy again? He said he left me on a note where I didn't make concrete plans with him, so got mad and unfriended him. Okay. The next day I swallowed my ego, messaged him back apologizing, and sent him a request back. So this is like high school. He accepted and asked when is a good time this week to meet, to which I said, you pick a time and date since he's the busy one. So now he picks, let's say, Tuesday at 6. Tuesday comes and I'm messaging him around 2 or 3ish. I wonder what happens next, guys. For details, he doesn't say anything. Anyways, throughout the evening, he makes excuses that his work has been keeping him busy and he wasn't planning on that, but he'd like to make it up to me the next day. And then he still flops. Your staying power, Miss Farr, is unbelievable, because the fact that you will continue to try the same thing over and over again is crazy. Long story short, I don't even care at this point. If man's just had bad communication skills, or even bothered about asking my bait, or he's not even bothered about asking my bait. I'm not sure what bait means. That might be a saying in your part of the world that I'm not aware of. I know he likes me, otherwise he wouldn't have attempted to make contact with me back or to bother my peace. Okay. My question is, what are some my question is, what are some posts and stuff? Guys, I hate reading this stuff when you guys don't spell check, and stuff I can post on social media to get his attention, just to mess with him. He watches all my stuff. I know you always mention invest in yourself, so I want to put in some good stuff on there without looking too desperate. I don't want to put weird quotes or post too much of me and my friends, but just enough. However, I want to do this tactically. Please advise and thank you. So, Miss Farr, I would advise you to, okay, I'm going to answer this 2 ways. One, in the way that I really should answer this, which is, don't concern yourself with what he thinks of you, because the relationship's over. So like, why does it matter what he thinks of you? It truly doesn't. Like, you should actually move on with your life. And the more you try to do more to have him see you or care about you or miss you, or like, it's pointless. It's pointless. Clearly, like, okay, actually, you know what? I won't answer it the second way, because I was going to say, you can post this, you can post that. I don't even want to entertain you, because I know you'll do that. And I don't even want to advise you on something that I know you shouldn't be doing. What you need to do is focus your time and energy on you and not what this guy thinks of you. You want to know why? This isn't even an ex of yours. This is someone who doesn't care about you. Okay? If he did care about you, he would have actually made some sort of real effort to like go out on these dates with you. I understand you guys went out on a couple of dates, but clearly he wasn't bothered enough by the date to actually plan anything else in the future. Like the fact that you multiple times, like 3 to 4 or 5 times, you have planned something with him only for him to completely ignore you the day of. It's almost like he's trying to test you and purposely like embarrass you by asking you to hang out, only knowing that you'll be so desperate that on the day of you'll message him a bunch and then he can be like, haha, you're desperate. Because like for him to do that once and then twice and then again and again with the same result is very, very strange. And so I say that to say to you, Miss Farr, this guy really doesn't give a damn about you. Literally not even in the slightest. So me advising you on how you can help this guy regret something that he never even wanted in the first place is really useless information to you and a waste of your time and energy, because you wouldn't even be making him regret anything. If he actually wanted to be with you, he would have been with you. And you were begging him to be with you because that's why you were messaging him and all this stuff. You're talking about you swallowed your pride. No, all you did was show him how desperate you are by unfriending him and then realizing to yourself, I don't have anything better than this guy. So I'll go back to a guy who literally can't be bothered to plan a single date with me and actually show up to the date. That's desperation, okay? And when he realized that, he was like, I don't really care about this girl whatsoever. And you're thinking about how you can make this guy regret you when in reality, he never really wanted you. So Miss Farr, my advice to you is to focus on yourself. Do more things for you instead of doing more things for this guy who doesn't even care about you. Okay? Here's my advice to you. Next we have here, let me scroll down the right way. I have so many, that was so selfish of me. I have so many questions to answer, and I answered a question about myself. Like that's crazy. I apologize for that. I didn't realize that was in that order. Princess says, got blocked after 1 year. I was in a relationship with a 41-year-old man when I was 24. We dated for a year, but throughout the relationship, I was always anxious about being cheated on or abandoned. Okay. He would call me sometimes, but other nights he would disappear. Huh. He never sent me a good night or good morning messages. I only saw him once every 2 weeks because he was always busy. Huh. Although he did take me on dates to his house where I stayed over. Oh, you did? The inconsistency was troubling. What did you notice at his house? Eventually, he went on a holiday with his friends and started following random women on social media. I texted and called him expressing my frustration. Why'd you do that? Why would you do that? In response, he blocked me everywhere and never spoke to me again. It ended 6 months ago. What did I do? You know, I really love you guys because I see you in the chat, and it's funny. I don't even have to say anything. And when I highlight something, everyone says the same thing. I was like, this guy's married. But you said you went over to his house and you stayed over. And so I'm sure if he was married, you probably would have noticed some things that are in line with being married. So maybe he wasn't married, or maybe you just didn't notice that. Either way, right? I do think that in this situation, expressing your frustration with the fact that he's following other girls was a mistake, because I know it's upsetting and you dated this guy for a year. This is where I don't want to be mean to you, princess, but this is where I start questioning, were you actually dating this guy, or did you think that you were dating this guy? Because there's a difference. And the reason I say that is because if he was under the impression he was dating you for a year, it's very strange behavior to follow random women on a holiday. And then when you address that, rather than him to at least say, I apologize, or at least give some lame, stupid excuse that doesn't make sense to try to get out of it, for him to just block you and never speak to you again, if he was like, if we're talking about dating like boyfriend and girlfriend for a year, I don't really know of anyone that would just vanish out of thin air after a year of dating someone simply because they ask about you following random women. And so this is where I don't want to be mean to you, princess, but it honestly sounds to me like you were under the impression you were dating this guy and there was no actual confirmation by him that he was dating you, because that would be a very strange response to that. Okay? You expressing frustration in him following other girls, even if he would at least lie to it, that would at least acknowledge the fact that he lied because he wanted to still be with you. But the fact that he just blocked you and never spoke to you, that doesn't really strike me as he was thinking this was a real relationship, to just disappear like that. And unfortunately, princess, I think you're finding yourself in a situation where you were completely confused about the status of this relationship. I don't think that it was a relationship. And so I don't think you necessarily did anything. I think you were just invested in someone who actually wasn't that invested in you. He could have been married. He could have had a girlfriend. He could have just been messing with you because you're easy and he can get easy access to you. And the moment you start nagging him or telling him anything that would make his life any harder than it has to be, he wants nothing to do with you. This is why I tell some of you guys, as disappointing as it might be, the moment you pull back or the moment you try to create some space so that he can be more interested in you, you'll realize that for some of you, you're in a situationship with a guy who's not interested in you at all. And the only way you'll realize that is by taking a step back and realize the only reason you are even having a situationship with him in the first place is because you were doing all the work. And I think that was you in your case, princess, unfortunately. Okay. Next we have, who do we have here? I'm going to do a few because since I started off with making it about me, silly me. Ileana, I got him literally obsessed, but I think I slipped up. I think I've seen this already though. Ileana says, hey, everyone, Tomisin's advice has been working so well. For a yeah, we did this one. I think we did. So I ordered an Uber to my home. Stupid. Okay, no, we didn't answer this one. Okay. For context, me and this guy I like, both 21, have hung out 7 times, but mainly for the gym and parties, only on one date. Anyways, the other day, we were at my friend's party and I was sensing that he wanted to kiss me. But before he did, I said, I don't think this is a good idea because I'm not sober, okay? He took it well, and when I was leaving, he was like, when can I see you next? And I said, I'll let you know. And he said, sorry, I'm trying not to get too obsessed. Good. You have him in a good place. He's probably only obsessed with me because of your advice. So I want to make sure he's consistent and not a love bomber. But here's the thing. It's a long weekend and this is a 2-day bender. And last night I went to a party with his friends. And while my friends wingman me on the first night, talking me up and stuff, his friends did the same for him, but better. And I slipped. It was going so good, Ileana. His 2 mates in the room. Whoa. Where are we going with this? His 2 mates in the room at the time gave him a kiss on the lip. What's going? Wait. Time out here. I need to reread this like 1,000 times to make sure this is in English because I think this one's in Swahili. I'm not sure. I'm understanding the context of these words in these in this letter and this structure here. And I slipped up. His 2 mates in the room at the time gave him a kiss on the lips. They are straight. Chat, is this one in English? I think Ileana might be from a different country. Which country is the one that speaks Swahili? Because I'm a bit confused. I don't think that these letters and symbols are actually in the English language. I'm not sure these words are in the English dictionary either. I'm going to read it one more time just to make sure I'm not confused. Chat, tell me if this one's in Swahili or if this one's in English. And I slipped up. His 2 mates in the room gave him a kiss on the lips. they are straight. And I don't know how this worked on me. Huh? But then they just abruptly left the room. What is this? What is this? What am I reading? And said, now there's only one person left to kiss in there. What is this? Chat, what is this? What is this? What am I reading here? I don't think I've ever heard of a situation like this. Now there's only one person left to kiss in there. Sorry, I'm glitching. I literally fell for some stupid sheep mentality and I kissed him too. That worked? You must have been just sloshed out of your mind. You must have been in a different realm off of something. How does this not leave you more confused than it does you turned on enough to kiss him? I'm shocked reading this. We made out a few more times that night and he asked if I wanted to stay at his house. So did you like just never address how strange it was that his straight friends would kiss him on the lips and just walk out of the, like, what type of eyes wide shut is scenario is this? His guy friends just kissed him on the lips and walked out of the room, and then you proceeded like nothing happened. How do you not address that? Stay at his house, and he said he wouldn't try anything. This is already a weird night. And you're gonna think that he's not gonna okay. But I said, "Nuh-uh, buddy." Okay, so that's where you drew the line. So he ordered my Uber home, but I can't help feel like it was too soon to kiss. Also a very strange situation. And stupid because I was drunk. You were out of your mind. That's what you were. Is hanging out only 7 times too soon to kiss someone? In the past, I've slept with people on like the second date, but I'm trying to do this right. Does kissing them give the same effect as pineapples where they stop trying as much? I don't want him to feel complacent, especially because I could walk away at any time. I'm still trying to uncover if he's fit for the job. He should be sweating. Okay, I agree, Ileana, with the second half of the second last portion here of this message. But I just feel like we glossed over something that is quite confusing and requires quite a bit of addressing. You know, I don't judge anyone or the way that they live their lives, but I think that in every relationship, you need to be asking the person you're planning to be romantic with and intimate with a lot of questions so that you can better understand how they think, what they want, what they are motivated by. So I just think for you to gloss over that, I think you probably should be getting a better understanding of like what his relationship is with his guy friends, how he feels towards them, how they feel towards him. Get a better understanding of his past experiences. Just because, you know, you don't want to find yourself in a relationship with someone that you don't really know. And so I just feel like I think you should be less worried about the kissing, because to answer this question directly, I don't think that the kissing is necessarily going to make him complacent, because kissing is not like getting access to Squirtle, especially when we're all adults. I'm assuming you said you're both 21. So you guys are like adults, okay? So kissing's not going to rock his world. You might be a good kisser, but it's not going to make him say, oh, now I'm good. I say that to say that's not your issue here, or what I even think your focus should be on. You did the right thing by not going over to his house. You did the right thing by not entertaining putting yourself in a position for temptation. You did all of that right. Continue doing that. Don't give a Squirtle up. You don't need to. But I think your focus for you specifically needs to be on asking him more questions to get a better understanding of who he is, what he feels and what he wants. Just because I just don't see in any, I have lots of guy friends, and they would all wingman for me. None of them would kiss me on the lips, in order to do that for me. I don't care how close our relationship is. So I just say that to say, I think you have some questions to be answered about him so that you can get a better understanding of him. That way, there are less surprises. Because I feel like at this point, even if you were to be in a relationship with him, you still don't really know too much about him. Because this is quite a left turn. Okay. And I think you have some digging to do and research on his past experiences, maybe his exes, and to get a better understanding of him before you start jumping into anything, and before you even start considering this a serious relationship. That was like quite a left turn there. So questions is what your to be answered about him is what your focus needs to be on. Everything else you're doing the right way. Not kissing's not gonna change anything. Okay, you can kiss him as much as you want, as long as you don't kiss him in a way where you put yourself in a position for temptation. So kissing him when you're out on a date is perfectly fine. If you're gonna go to his house, be in his bed and start kissing him, you're putting yourself in a bad position, because that makes it a lot easier to be tempted and do something you regret. Next, we have here, from situation to situation, mess up, help. Oh my God. Oh my God. There is a PDF here. Chat, should I open this PDF? I'm scared. Scared. This is a whole PDF here. I've never seen this before. I didn't even know you could send in a PDF into the Discord. Like, is this going to give me a virus? Scared now. Chat, should I open or should I just skip this one? This is by Peppa Pig the Third. Open or skip? I'm scared now. Some people like, yo, I'm scared too. Nah, this is what if I open this, it gives me a virus on my page, like everything go to hell. Should I just risk it? Some people saying skip, some people saying open. I'm scared. Okay. If I open this and everything gets shut down, at least you guys know what happened to me. I love you guys so much. Please say hello to all the people that I love for me. I'm gonna open it. We don't know what we could be walking into. Okay, it's gonna open up on my browser first. Okay, open on browser. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna add in. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna add in a display capture so that you guys can view my screen. And we are going to head over into this right here. I'm gonna drag this over. And we're going to discuss this. Okay. We're gonna discuss this. Let's see here. I gotta put this away. Sorry, that's the chat there. Let's see. Okay. Let me just resize this for you guys. Resize this. I didn't know this was gonna happen, so I have to do this all live here so that we can all see this. Gotta resize this for you all. Bring this down here. Okay. Bring this up in front of that. And then we're gonna do this as well. Sorry about that. I gotta do this on the fly. Then we gotta do this as well. Let me bring up my other screen here. Make sure this is sized up for you guys as well. I'm gonna bring this over. I know this is a lot. Don't worry, we'll get through it. And add a display capture. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So let me resize this as well on for you guys on TikTok so you guys can see as well on TikTok. Let's see. I gotta bring this over, size it down. I know you guys can see yourselves. Don't worry. I'm gonna get this down for you guys. Don't worry. This ain't gonna be neat. This ain't gonna be neat like the other ones, but don't worry, we'll get it. We'll get it here. So let's see what we can get here from this. Okay. Okay, let's put this down here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So we have I did that all in one fell swoop. There we go. So you guys can see TikTok, you good? YouTube, you good? You guys can all see everything all good? Let me know in the chat that you guys can see everything all good. I assume it should be fine. Okay, so here we go. From situation to mess. Hi, Tomisin. 21-year-old female, Verge, Middle Eastern. Have been in a situation friendship with a 22-year-old male, 2 exes, East Asian, for 4 months. We met at a university since we both study the same major and take the same bus. Okay? This ended with him asking general cues, asking general cues for my Instagram and phone number. I didn't feel anything odd or impolite, so I exchanged. He would like my stories, DM me, only to check about classes, and because I'm a good student, I'd always keep it short and typically 6 to 12 hours long, 6 to 12 hours to respond. We went for lunch in restaurants multiple times and chatted about different stuff, mostly me asking him questions about his hobbies. Okay. Let's see, family, etc. I let him yap while showing interest in every detail of his stories and asking him follow-up questions, and we both paid for our meals. Okay, so it's a little bit more like a friend type of thing. After holiday, I asked him about his trip, and he talked about every detail while showing me pics of it. He gave me a souvenir and told me he chose this one because pink is my favorite color. Time passed until he asked me if there was any place I wanted to go. I told him there was a place in a rural area, and he asked if I would like to visit there with him since he hadn't been there before either. I asked him if he wanted to, and I didn't mention it again. After 2 weeks, he DM'd me and asked if I still wanted to go to the place. We went there and had dinner, and since it was too late, he changed his bus route to stay with me until I got home. After that, we also went to Starbucks multiple times to study, and I asked him to explain a question, and he explained it with his hands and voice shaking all the time. All of a sudden, he asked me if I could show him some of my recent cookings. He recommended positively about each one and told me he would like to taste my food because he was sure I was a good cook. We managed to come to my apartment for lunch. I'll go on. I won't pause. Friday to eat and study together, and the next at his place. Since I have roommates, I didn't mind. He came with me. He came with a bottle of Moscato. We chatted, drank a whole bottle, then had a beer. After a while, he asked me if he could ask me a question. It took him almost a decade to form it, and he heard from one of his roommates that even though my country is generally conservative, the girls are easy to have pineapples with. I asked him if he came for some specific reason. He became nervous and said yes, then no. Just wanted to know if their statements were true or not. I told him firmly that it was not true, and that it was not true about me, and I hadn't done anything to give him the idea, which he confirmed and apologized for his question. I was still mad, so I told him to get out. He said he didn't want to leave me like that and shouldn't have asked the question in the first place. He offered to go outside to buy more drinks and wanted me to come with him. Okay. We got out and bought 2 bottles of beer for each other. So this is the same night. So more drinking. While drinking, more drinking, I started playing Truth or Dare. Those of us with experience know this is not good, but only with truth questions. Okay. Both friendly and spicy questions, of course. In one of the questions, I asked when was the last time he got hyped up. Hyped up just means H'd up. H'd up means lower extremity blood flow, guys. To which he replied, last Tuesday at the coffee shop because I looked pretty. He wants to have pineapples every day because he loves, basically stars for, physical intimacy and enjoys talking with me. You're young, it's okay. He asked me if he could have a hug and nothing else. Oh man. All the young tricks he's playing on you. He put his hands on my waist and started sniffing my neck like a wild dog. Oh, he's hungry. He is hungry. He mumbled to my ears, "We're just friends." I stopped and asked if it's the way he acts with all of his friends and if there is anyone else in his life he was hiding. He said there was a girl in his own country that they were both interested in, but hadn't seen for 2 years. This came out of nowhere. I told him he acted immaturely and that what he wanted to do was not fair to any of us. He said, let's clear our heads and just continue the game, which we did without the spicy questions, while lying down. A couple of hours later, oh my God, he asked me again for a hug in the bed this time, telling me this option was no longer available since he did not respect the boundaries. Oh, sorry, you told him this option was no longer available. However, after some begging and promises, I accepted as long as he didn't do anything weird. I think we all know he's going to do something weird. Whenever he tried to do something inappropriate, I'd stop before he reached to that point. He asked me if I felt anything. And I replied no and laughed, not in a flirtatious way, while checking my phone. We stayed in that position for almost 2 hours. So like hugging for 2 hours? That's a lot of blood flow. With me giving him notices about his hand placement every once in a while. Wow, he is aged up. 2 hours, he's rock solid. That's insane. I wanted him to show his true self, so I pretended to fall asleep. Uh-oh. What's happening here? After he checked that I was asleep, he tried to touch my... Oh my God. While getting closer, I'm choking. While getting closer from the back, basically shivering, close to reaching his end game. So to keep my boundaries while giving him the itch, I pretended to wake up asking if he had done anything inappropriate. What? To which he replied no. I told him it was too late and he had to leave. He cleaned the room, packed up, and said goodnight. Update, he messaged me if I went to the uni today or not, which I didn't answer. What do you think? By the way, thanks for your advice. I really love the show and it helps me a lot. Wishing you the best. Sorry for the long message. wow, this was a roller coaster of a ride here. Um, I was not expecting that last part. Thank you for the question. I forgot your name here, your username, and I can't see it here. But this was insane. So to answer your question here, I think that obviously we know what he wanted from you. I don't think that that's a shocker here or anything like that. I think that because you're young, you were a little bit naive to a lot of the tricks that guys play when they're actually trying to extract pineapples from you, but they don't want to say they are going to extract pineapples from you. They just want to see how far they can push the boundaries. I do want to be honest with you though. I think you made a mistake by I understand you were trying to test him, but you put yourself in a very, like, you don't really know this guy, and you're putting yourself in a very precarious situation by pretending to fall asleep to see what he will or won't do. I get that you were trying to test him, but I just think that you unnecessarily put yourself in a very strange situation where you could have just spoken up for yourself and told him that, look, I'm not here for that. This ain't what I'm trying to do. And the thing about it is, see, I know that you're young, so you're a bit more naive to this reality. But I want you to understand the mistake is never it actually happening. What I mean, like, the mistake is never like actually sleeping with someone and then realizing, oh my gosh, that was a mistake. The actual mistake happens when you put yourself in the path of temptation. So I know you're young, so you don't realize that going over to the house can lead to going over to the room, can lead to being in the bed, can lead to cuddling up with each other, can lead to being naked, can lead to all this other stuff. But I want you to understand that if you truly want to avoid, you don't want to give away pineapples, you don't want to give away your Squirtle, you want to keep your purity, that's perfectly fine. But that also means that you need to be very forward thinking and cognizant of the fact that you also are not trying to make the mistake of putting yourself in a vulnerable position where you can either fall prey to temptation or just a position in general where you're very vulnerable to not stand on your morals or to be persuaded out of your morals. Okay. And the more you put yourself in temptation's way, the harder it will be to continuously say no, because it sounds good in theory to say, I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm not going to cross any of my own boundaries and I'm going to keep my morals. But like 2 hours of consistency of him continuously trying over and over again. Yeah, maybe it doesn't work the first night, but maybe he comes over again and it's another 2 hours. Maybe he comes over again and it's another 2 hours, right? Until finally you start thinking to yourself, maybe it wouldn't be that bad if we just took our clothes off while we hugged each other. Maybe it wouldn't be that bad if, while we're hugging each other, he's just rubbing up against me. Maybe it wouldn't be that bad. I'm feeling a lot of things now if it just, it starts slipping and sliding and things are slipping in places. And then all of a sudden you're doing the thing. And I'm only saying that because I know of that experience. And I know that guys will push their limits and see how far they can get until you finally just let them do the thing. And trust me, those that are older in the chat and have more experience than you have been through that before. We've all been there. So we're all kind of having flashbacks in our own lives from different perspectives because we know how this ends and we know how this goes. Okay. So in terms of answering your question, in terms of what I think that he was there for the purpose of pineapples. I think you did the right thing in terms of telling him to leave. I think the mistake though was inviting him over to your place. At least you were at his place where you have control. But inviting him over to your place was a mistake simply because you first of all, you don't really know that guy. And even if you are inviting him over, it should be out in the living room where your roommates can see you, where everyone can see you. And once you get a sense like this, that a guy's like this, and especially him talking to you earlier where he said that, oh, I heard girls from your country are easy or are very into pineapples, that's not a good sign. You need to walk away from that immediately because this is why I always tell you guys, the more someone talks, the more they'll clue you into what they actually feel and what they actually think, because that was him cluing you into what he actually wanted and what he actually was there for. Okay, so yeah, long message, I know, guys, but yeah, that was my advice and situation for you there. What was your username there? Oh, Petty Pig. Petty Pig. Okay, so that was crazy. We'll do another one, since that one was kind of like out of the blue there. I wasn't expecting that one at all. None of us were. Let's do one more here. So we have next Onisis. Oh, this is long. Okay, this one's long. I'm gonna table Onisis, okay? Just because for time's sake, I'll table this one. And Onisi, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Tomorrow, you will be the first one answered, okay? I don't want to go too over on time because I have somewhere to be, okay? Very busy man. So tomorrow, we will get to Onisi's and we will discuss Onisi's. Hers is very long. It looks very juicy, okay? And we will discuss hers in detail, okay? So for those of you who are wanting to send in your own question and get your own question answered live on the show, please, if you're on TikTok, you go to the link in my description where you can ask your question there in my bio. Or if you're on YouTube, you just go, it's pinned at the top there, the link to the Discord, or you can go to the bottom where the link is in the description if you're watching this after the fact, and you can get access to the Discord and ask your question there, which I will answer live on the show. Okay, so if you just love me so much and you want to see everything I'm doing, you want to see how I lost the weight, because I referred to that earlier in the show, you can go on my YouTube and see what I look like before I lost weight and things like that. If you are wanting to follow me on Instagram, I said that's up there. It's on the top left of your screen and on the bottom right if you're on YouTube. And if you are on TikTok and you want to see this show, you love this show, you want to be a part of the show every day, all the time, see all the shows in the past, you can go right over to my YouTube, which is right above my head, and you can go on my YouTube page, just type my name in on YouTube, you'll find my page, go to the live section, you'll see all my past live streams with the TikTok and the YouTube live chat embedded, where you can have see all the beautiful discussion going on alongside me in my topics. Okay, for those of you who are new here, I'm live every day during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to join me right on time, whatever time that is in your time zone, that's the time you got to join me. Okay, so for the rest of you, I love you so much. Goodbye for now. Au revoir. Arrivederci. I'll see you later. Don't worry, lots of love, hugs, and kisses to you. Until the next time I see you. I gotta go run. I gotta go do some stuff. Okay. All right. I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your night or evening. I love you so much. Me love you.